this show was started out because we were all standing outside one day and I realized how short we all were. And I was like, let's do a short comedy. And then there was supposed to be a little bit more, like we chose Isaac and Ashley because they're so tall, but I didn't think Hi-Ho would allow me to duct tape the mic stand. For the short mics, we should all get an extra 30 seconds to 1 minute on our time because we usually have to wrestle the mic down every time. There was also a part where we were going to wear shorts because it's summertime and it was short comedy, but Amanda let us know that there is some sort of rule against that in the Golden Comedy Book. I know that was written in ancient times. I don't know, so we're not allowed to wear shorts to do comedy. I'm not sure how that goes. Everybody having a good time tonight? Okay, I just want to say thanks, shout out to the Sobering Center. I said that like I was drunk. Sobering Center. I like the special shout out to Jonas back there. He and I met literally at work because he brings the van down and they come and they pick up people with drug and alcohol problems off the street, bring them back so they can sleep it off, and then when they have them in that twilight time where some of these people are sober for the first time in forever, they get a chance to talk to them. And sometimes they change people's minds, and they've gotten quite a few people off the street since they've started. That's what I just want to say. None of that was really funny, but it is actually funny when they pull up. They have such a good sense of humor. I've never seen a group of people do that kind of work and be that upbeat. I mean, they literally just pull up and they'll be like, "Hey, Rangers!" And we'll be like, "Hey, Sobering Center!" And then the person with the drug or alcohol problem is just like, "Oh my God, what is happening?" And then it basically looks like a kidnapping. Thank God they got a magnet on the door because before they were just pulling up in this white van and people were really, at one point, 2 people one morning about 6 a.m., or if you remember this, Jonas, but somebody actually stopped and asked us what we were doing. They thought we were kidnapping these people because they were Spanish speakers. It was like, no, we're actually helping them. And then the people that asked me, they actually got in the van too. So that was all, it was crazy. It was a crazy moment. So if you haven't figured out, if you don't know me, I have a weird job. I'm a public safety ranger downtown. I don't know who came up with the name Ranger, but they did. And I know the whole idea of public safety in New Orleans seems counterproductive to what we really try to do to people here. Seems wild. Okay, that goes over better with tourists. Do we have any tourists here tonight? Huh? Wow, that's kind of a shame. I like to pick on them when they're here usually. We know they're here somewhere. Yeah, because I like to talk to tourists a lot because our job, we do homeless outreach and tourism. Interchangeable when drinking and carrying luggage. It's often sometimes a little confusing. Check it out, people get offended. Like, hey, I'm sorry, I thought you were a tourist. That happens. But yeah, the job requires me to be outdoors. I did work for Amanda briefly. I tried going indoors. Amanda was a great boss. It was no reflection on her, but I was just like, I got to get back outside. And I'm guessing who had the last laugh on that this summer. I'm sure Amanda's sitting up in her air-conditioned office. How you doing down there? We wear a cute uniform that goes with it. Yeah, it's a great uniform. Let me just explain how this uniform looks. It looks like this. Like, people come up to me and I'm always shocked when they walk up to me and they say things to me like, "Excuse me, do you live here?" And of course, the first thing I want to say is, yeah, what the fuck? You think I dress like this all the time? You know, and then I realize, yeah, they do, because I'm a lesbian of a certain age, and therefore they do think that I always go out in cargo shorts with a button-down white shirt with a public safety patch. Because all lesbians my age should actually dress that way. Pretty much all the Rangers, we all look like lesbians ready at any moment to go to a 1980s LPGA event. Now, for some of you who don't know what LPGA is, don't get that confused and think it's part of the LGBTQ added on letters and stuff. No, LPGA is Lesbian Professional Golf Association. Just don't tell the ladies, the straight ladies, that stands for lesbian. They haven't figured that out yet somehow. So yeah, that does annoy me when people do that. It also hinders my off time, because when I'm off now, I'm not really so hip and wanting to wear shirts like this and shorts, because it just feels like I'm at work. That doesn't work too well. But I had a big birthday this summer. Anybody else have a birthday here in the summer? It's just like the worst time to have a birthday here. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's like, you want to have a cookout? Hell no. We're already on fire. But it was a big birthday. All my birthdays are big now because I can no longer claim midlife. Some of my peers, they still want to claim midlife, and I'm like, we would have to live to 120 at this point. And some of them are thinking, I guess we could. I'm not sure we want to. My mom's shooting for that. I'm not going to say whether or not we're pulling for her, but she is trying hard to make it there. Yeah, that's another issue. So one of the things I've been thinking about, this safety ranger job, which is difficult in this heat, obviously. I've been thinking, well, how many more years can I actually do this, right? And I'm thinking, maybe I need to find another job, because the idea of retirement, that's actually not going to happen. Retirement is death for many people now in America. It's the American dream to come here. It's what I want to tell immigrants. Come here and work till you die. It is the new American dream. So I've been thinking, like, what could I do? And I've been looking at some of my friends who retired and then went right back to work, and they got new jobs. And then I've been looking at some of these Gen Zs, right? I think sometimes the reason why boomers hate Gen Zs is because Gen Zs figured out how to make money off of fake jobs before boomers did. We wait to the end of our lives, they figured it out already. Sometimes you see a Gen Z and you're like, look at this shit, doesn't even have a job. Like, what is this person doing with their life, walking around in their pajamas? And actually they are. They're probably pulling in money just using their phone, not even leaving home. It's amazing. So I've been looking into fake jobs, and we have a lot of them here in New Orleans. One real popular one here in New Orleans is called Ghost Tour Guide. Ghost Tour Guide is absolutely a fake job. I mean, what is a ghost tour guide? It's like the paparazzi of ghosts. You just make stuff up. And I know it's traditional in America to make up history, so it's okay. But also, it's just such an easy job. You just walk people around and you just make up stuff about these entities, these past life people who can't come back and defend themselves. Another job that's become very popular is called a life coach. Does anybody know a life coach? Is anybody here a life coach? Thank God. Okay, because that happened to me recently. Okay, so a life coach, if you don't know what that is a person who basically does therapy without a degree or education or experience in therapy, which I also like to call a best friend. So I think the reason why I have a bad attitude against life coaches is because I have not figured out yet how to charge my friends. This is a new popular career with boomers. I think it's a post-career. I think it's kind of weird when Gen Zs try it, like the one that approached me after the show recently. I was like, you haven't really lived long enough to be a life coach. And then another one I'm thinking of, but do we have any East Coast, West Coast people, maybe formerly from those areas? No, boy, nothing I call out tonight. Okay, oh wait, somebody in the back. Just because I think East Coast and West Coast people know a lot about this, but this is the ultimate not doing your job, Reiki. Reiki massage. Anybody know what that is? Okay. Anybody know what massage is? Massage? Oh yeah, it felt so good before COVID. Reiki is energy work. Just kind of hover over. In fact, it's an excellent COVID one. Pretty much, I think you studied this at Hogwarts University. David Copperfield for the older people. So yeah, Reiki massage. That's one I'm thinking I can get into. I don't really always like to touch strangers anyway, so this is a good form of massage. The only thing that worries me though about like receiving Reiki is it is energy work, and there are a lot of older women getting into this post-second career, and I'm just thinking like if you're a woman and you spent 30 plus years making 60 cents on the man dollar for a living, and now I'm getting all that energy. I'm thinking when you're through, I'm just gonna stand up first man I see, I'm just gonna throat punch him. That was for 30 years. Yeah, that's true. That's happening. And the last fake job that I really could come up with, another one more popular East and West Coast, is called channeling. Does anyone know about channeling? Okay, wow. All right. I see I need to hit the road with this act. So channeling is, I'm sure you guys have seen it in movies and if nothing else. Channeling is like when you have, say, like a 400-year-old spirit who speaks through you. Like an entity comes through you and starts speaking to you. So basically it's a life coach that you can never come back on. Unless you go to the ghost tour guide to maybe find out where they live. So anyway, those are some jobs I'm working on. If if any of you have any other ideas, let me know after the show. I think some of the Sobering Center people, after 2 years of that job, will be joining me. And they see an entire table of Reiki masters over there. All right. Well, retirement is looking tough. That doesn't happen for me too often. But I do think about retirement a lot because I do take care of just myself. I have my dogs to look after. Yeah. And I know some of you are disappointed because you're like, wow, I thought you were a lesbian. What's with the dogs? Like, I did my 20 years with cats. The vet seemed disappointed in me that I only got him to 20 years. Seemed kind of like I hadn't tried hard enough. But I did. But I do have 2 dogs now, and if it makes you feel any better, one doesn't have eyes. Kind of like Amanda has about 6 cats combined, probably 4 eyes. That's actually a joke of hers. That's a reality. I have 2 dogs with 2 eyes, and I gotta think about them. So recently I was looking for ways I can, stretch the dollar, but I also wanted to treat them. And I saw some special, expensive dog food on sale. Of course, you always kind of want to follow up that with a quick search to see if there's been a recall on any doggy yes. But there wasn't. So I was like, let me get this. So I brought it home. My friend Lori came by to visit, and I popped that sucker open, and I was like, this smells kind of good. I looked at the can, and it said duck liver. I don't know, some of you go to fancy restaurants and you may have heard of foie gras. I'm pretty sure that is duck liver. So I was like, oh my God, I got the dog's foie gras. I felt like putting a little tablecloth out, little silverware. It was great. And I kept smelling it, I was like, yum, yum, yum. Yum, yum. Lori was getting a little nervous. She was like, are you gonna taste that? Are we gonna eat it? I said, I don't know, Lori, think about it. These were on sale 2 for $4. Rally's is running a special 4 for $4. What's the real dog food? Really? This stuff costs more than raviolis. So I was really just breathe that in. Lori was getting a little tempted. I said, nope, can't do it. If we eat this now, what do we have to look forward to in retirement? Thank you for coming tonight. Appreciate all your donations. Give it up for the very tall Ashley Grant.